Yo, good friggin' morning, good friggin' evening, good friggin' night, wherever you're at. How's it going, everybody? I'm Aggrofiend, and I just wanted to put out a quick video here for the patch that just came out, the 1.1 patch. Now, I went and checked everything on my previous build, Bul-Slide, and that previous build still works. However, I did make a few changes, and I would like to give you an updated build on that, but this does still work. This build still does great. I'm still slaying 70s quite easily. I've made it into the 80s. Matter of fact, I did an 89 after the patch. I did a Nightmare 89 with this build. Now, again, it's not the fastest killer. You do have to watch out for explosions, but it still can get the job done. I haven't tried it in the 90s yet, just because, I haven't gotten there yet. I think I still need a couple more pieces of gear, but still, I think this build is extremely viable, probably one of the better, if not the best, Druid builds out there after the patch because of the Grizzly Rage nerf and several other things. So anyways, let's just go over this really fast. And the helmet was still the same thing, looking for cooldown reduction, definitely, and basic attack speed. The basic attack speed is going to be key. Another key opponent, because Symbiotic got the nerf, you're going to want to take as many of those seconds down on re-upping your trample and re-upping your bulwark as fast as possible. Now, I like the way this helmet is set up. The willpower could be something else if you wanted to, but I kind of like the way this is set. It's a pretty good one. Now, I was able to respec some of the skills, and I got that +4 ranks of Earthen Bulwark. And with the way I have this set up, in order to work the Bulwark, that is needed. I was dying a lot before. I am not now with how I have the points set up, and I'll show you all of those in a second. Also, it's kind of late. My kid just went to bed, and if you can hear the fan in the background, sorry, it's hot here in Texas. But anyways, back real quick. Running Might on the helmet, and then we're going to run Mending Stone on the chest piece. I still like Earthen Bulwark and 3 damage reductions. 2 damage reductions in armor might be where you need to go, just because of how they nerfed the damage reductions and so on and so forth. They nerfed armor as well, I believe. Everything just got nerfed all over the board, but I still think the damage reductions are going to be the way I want to go. So 3 damage reductions and the +4 ranks of Bulwark are what you're looking for. Gloves, we're going with the Aftershock gauntlets. Here, you want the +3 ranks of Landslide, definitely. You want the attack speed, definitely. And after that, critical strike chance, critical strike damage, vulnerable damage, just going with some kind of increase to damage. Personal preference on how you want to do that. I still don't know which one's the best with all the nerfs. We got Disobedience, even with the nerf. Is still quite good, and we're gonna run Disobedience on the pants, and you need damage reduction while injured. 4 DRs on the pants preferable. I've got 3 DRs and 1 armor, but you definitely need the damage reduction while injured on the pants, and you need the damage reduction while injured on the boots as well. Now, as you can tell, I have an extremely high roll on the boots. I have an extremely high roll on the amulet, and I have an extremely high roll on the pants. I'm at 81%, and I feel unstoppable. So these 3 pieces are going to 110% need your damage reduction while injured. I'm still running Ghostwalker. Not sold on it yet. I'm going to see what goes on, but you are unstoppable most of the time, if not all the time, so this still does work quite well. Boots, movement speed, and fortified generation are definitely the 2 that I go for, along with the damage reduction while injured. And then total armor while in werewolf form, I'm leaning towards either that or a damage reduction. Again, we're just trying to become tanky and let everything else take over afterwards. Over on the amulet, running Symbiotic to get that maximum reduced by seconds to 8, which was 12. Now, the way that used to work is when it would proc, it would only take 1 rotation. If you had 14% cooldown reduction and you had Symbiotic on your amulet, a max Symbiotic, one trigger would completely take your bulwark off cooldown. Now it takes about 2 or 3 sometimes. So you wanted a little more cooldown reduction. You want as high as cooldown reduction as you can get on your helmet and your amulet. You definitely still need that. It's working right now. I still only have like 15.2 and it's working quite well. It's only 2 instead of 1. But with more cooldown reduction, I think you could probably get it back to the way it was. Now, as far as the rolls I have on this, ranks to Envenom, a must. Damage reduction while injured, a must. Cooldown reduction, a must. Those 3 things are a must. The last thing, damage while shape shifted. Yeah, definitely want to put some damage. You're always going to be shapeshifted, whether you're running trample or whether you're in werewolf form with your shield on. So, yeah, damage while shapeshift is not a bad little piece right there. So again, that's probably a personal preference, but I would definitely probably put a damage skill there, unless you're dying too often and you need to put another DR or another armor or something in that slot. Whoopsies. As for the ring, now the ring here, we're gonna go Trampled Earth, and where you're just looking for damage, critical strike. I really think you want critical strike chance, critical strike damage, vulnerable damage, and maybe damage to poison, or let's see, crit vuln. Oh, barrier generation is also another key one that you're probably gonna want, that you're definitely gonna want. You want to get your barrier generation up to 60%. So I got barrier generation here. I have barrier generation on the helmet. So just go back and check these. I believe it's the helmet and the rings where I put the most barrier generation at to get I'm trying to get that here. So critical strike chance, critical strike damage, and vulnerable, and then damage to poison can be turned into barrier generation. I think that's going to be your perfect ring. I've almost got that here. If I change that lucky hit chance into critical strike damage, I think we'll be doing better. Maybe critical strike damage with urge skills. I'm not sure. So I don't really know how the nerfs to critical strike damage are going to do. But anyways, we're running rapid on the ring and we're running trampled earth here. Now, the poison creeper subterranean is definitely something that I'm looking into. I'm thinking it might be a good idea I want to keep trampled earth here, right, for the pillars. And then I'm thinking the aftershock gets replaced with subterranean. So if I had it my way, I would replace aftershock with subterranean to when I cast my poison creeper, it throws out the landslide, and then whenever I cast my trample, it throws out the landslide. So back and forth between these two. The poison creeper is going to CC everything, and so on and so forth. And then, of course, we're running great staff of the crone. This is to trigger our symbiotic and get our stuff back and get our bulwarks back and keep rocking and rolling. And like I said, with this build right now, I am clearing high 80s. Still high 80s post patch. This is after patch. This is 1.1. Still clearing high 80s. Going to try and push into the 90s. If I can get that ring and maybe a few other things, I'll try and push into the 90s. And if I can push into the 90s, this build's golden. I mean, it's already top 80s. So, but anywho, let's go into the spirit boons. Spirit boons, I believe, are the same. I kept them the same. Wariness for deer. And then Avian Wrath for the eagle. We went pack leader. And we went bolster. Now remember, you want to fortify before going into a fight, and you want to drop your health below 35% or to 35% or below before you go into a fight. Trust me, you don't want to try and do it during a fight. You will die. You need to do it before. If you end up dying, you need to go reset. That's just how it's going to have to run with this build. And then we run Calm Before the Storm. So, into abilities, take us into this here. Here, hold on. Let me get the red off the screen there. Abilities. Now, I will say this I have played this with a mouse and keyboard, and I have played this with controller, and it is a lot smoother with controller, but still doable with mouse and key. So, not a lot has changed, but I know some has changed. And when I get to it, if I can remember where I changed it from the last build, I'll let you know, but this is the currently updated build. So we got 1 point in claw, and then Crone takes it over and puts the +9 in there since we got a good roll on it. And then we go all the way through to Wild Claw, and then 1 in a Storm Strike all the way to Fierce Storm Strike. Okay, we're going to move down here to our core. and we're going to put 5 points into landslide. Now here's where that +4 on the gear for earthen bulwark, so that I don't have to put 5 points into earthen bulwark. This is where this is going to come in once we get down below this. So we got 5 points in a landslide. Now, most people are taking primal landslide, but the problem is the terror moat, from what I was told and what I can see, terror moat, and if I'm wrong, please, somebody let me know. I would love to hear it from a viable source that says it actually works. But I was told that the terror moat does not actually work when using it with trample. It actually has to be in your hotbar in order to use it. So we're just throwing 5 into landslide to get those pillars and to get that damage on trample and poison creeper subterranean aspect when we get it. Then we go down here and we're going to throw 3 into predatory instinct for the critical strike chance for close. Then here, so that we can get that 5 to get the 68% barrier amount plus the 60% amount that we grab out there, that's going to put our barrier at like 7,800, almost 8K. If you only put 1 point here and go into innate bulwark, which we're going into innate because we're still kicking out 3 and 4 million damage each explosion. It's not 39 million or 40 billion or whatever the hell some of those people are doing. But I tell you what, every pop that you get that knocks off 4 or 5 million is still a hell of a tick at level 89. So when I had it at 1, I wasn't surviving very often. I even put 2 in there and I still wasn't surviving. So I was like, all right, how can I get this up to max that as I can, and this here and here? I sacrificed 1 slot for +4 to earthen bulwark, which landed me at 5, and it works perfectly. But because of gear, we're looking good in these 2 spots. We got our gloves here, we got our helmet here. So we definitely want to go into innate bulwark. Then we throw 1 into Ancestral Fortitude just to get to Vigilance with a 15% damage reduction. That was in the build before, I believe, and it's still rocking and rolling, still doing good. Drop down here and grab our Poison Creeper. Poison Creeper goes right into Brutal Poison Creeper for the critical strike chance. That stays the same. Also, being able to entangle on demand is great. This build has a huge CC ability. You can tangle people, you can knock them back with the trample, you can knock them around or knock them about with the landslide stuff. Down below we have Petrify, which freezes and stuns, and there's all kinds of shit you can do with this build. And you're constantly moving. So if you're constantly moving and you're constantly CCing, they're not hitting you. Plus you have a giant shield and the 35% damage. It's just a whole bunch of stuff stacking up. So we're going to move down here to our Wrath. And we're going to throw Hurricane, and then we're going to put 1 Hurricane, and we're going to go all the way to Savage Hurricane. Now, I am running Exploit. I think that is something that I changed from the last one, possibly. Maybe not, but we put 1 here just so when Exploit runs out, Elemental Exposure, if we haven't killed everything, picks up and makes everything vulnerable again when Exploit runs out, because it's only once every 20 seconds per mob. So that's why I put the 1 point there. We are going to go 3, 3, 3 here because everything we're using is Earth. So we're going 3 in Crushing, 3 in Safeguard, 3 in Stone Guard, 1 in Trample. We have no need for either one of these, in my opinion. If somebody else can tell me why I need these, let me know, because I don't really care about the damage from Trample. It doesn't, as far as I know, it doesn't go over to Landslide. And casting Trample to Fortify. We are fortified constantly because we're re-upping our Bulwark all the time, and then we don't care about Spirit. So we just throw 1 Trample in there, and so that we have access to it to give us Trample Slide. Move on down here to Neurotoxin, 1 here and 1 in Toxic Claw to get everything poisoned so that we can play off the poison damage. And then Envenom plus the ranks from our Amulet. So we have 3 pieces of gear that give us plus ranks. We have our helmet, we have our amulet, and our amulet and gloves. So those 3 pieces of gear right there give us landslide, envenom, and landslide, envenom, and bulwark, which helps us maintain and be sustainable. So we'll jump down here to ultimate. We're gonna run 3 in defiance, 3 in natural disaster, 3 in resonance. All of this works fantastic because you're constantly triggering hurricane and constantly triggering bulwark. I mean, resonance is on pretty much the entire time. And then we're going to run 1 in quick shift, 1 in heightened sense. We are constantly shifting back and forth between the 2. And then we're going to run 1 in petrify. Now we don't need any duration. We don't really care about 1 in the duration. It's from 4 to 5 or 3 to 4 or so on and so forth. Really, 1 second really isn't that much. It's either dead or it's not, and we have other entanglements and so on and so forth, but it's a good burst. Grizzly Rage doesn't really fit here. Thought about Cataclysm for extra damage, but I like the CC stuns and so on and so forth. So, and then don't really need the Spirit. So we just want the one in there for the extra damage and the stun for X amount of time. And 6 seconds on a boss is very nice. And then we run down and finish off with Nature's Fury, which is how we keep proccing things. So that is skills into the Paragons. I believe, if you watch the last video, I believe I had Shapeshifter here and changed it out to Protector. And then I don't remember if I had Exploit here or not. That may have been changed out, but we're going to start at the bottom. And I'm going to take you to the Paragons that I went to in order, and then you can flow back through them. So here is the starter Paragon. I will give you time to pause these. Next up, I don't think I did this in the last video either, so I don't think I told you what Paragon it was. My fault, my first Diablo video. Now, the reason I went in this last Paragon, or this last board right here, for all of this vulnerable and critical strike damage. To get us up to 185, I'm still trying to find 15% more critical strike damage so that we can hit the 200% critical strike damage cap for PvP, which we can definitely go over it in PvE if we want to. But I was definitely trying to like make it to where it was good for PvP as well. And that is the Paragon boards, and that's the full build. That's your gear, your aspects, your spirit boons, your abilities, and your Paragons. Like I said, man, I am clearing. I'm clearing high 80s with this build, and this is post patch. Been doing it today. Been talking to my Discord, talking to friends, and so on and so forth. I definitely think that this type of build is the way to go in Season 1 if you want to be successful in the season with Druid. I think this is definitely going to be the way to go for now because Grizzly Rage has just gotten shit on, man. It really has. And the DR, while injured, it still seems pretty good, even though all the damage resistant stuff got nerfed. But this build, unless you have to watch out for volcanic, you have to watch out for poison explosions, anything that explodes on the ground, you need to watch out for. I haven't tested it exclusively against any of the lightning strike modifiers or anything like that. There are things that can one-shot you. So this isn't a cakewalk. Constantly moving, constantly CCing, dipping in and out, blasting things with your shield. You literally can treat yourself like a missile. You can come rushing, if you time it right, you can rush in with trample and your shield will pop. And it's like, as soon as you get there, you'll push something against the wall and hit your poison creeper, stun it, entangle it, pop, big group dead, dive over here, dive over there. There's a lot of movement and you can really spread things out. As you dive through things, it'll spread the enemy base out too really well. And you can kind of push some over here and push some over there and take on 3 and 4 and really move around and stay mobile. So Anyways, with that being said, this is a post patch. This is a 1.1 patch that still works in the high 80s. I'm going to try and push into 90s the best I can. I have none of the other stuff in my consumables ready. I traded all those in and started running some lower stuff just to try and get, I was trying to get Protector up. I was trying to do some faster stuff. So, but anyways, I will try and get some gameplay of a level 89 or higher. I'll try and get a nice high nightmare dungeon and get that recorded and put that up on the YouTube channel as soon as I can. But anyways, guys, appreciate y'all. Thank you. Like I said, this is going to be a fast video, so it's nothing fancy. It's just showing you guys that Druid still has a very, very powerful build that that they can still go kick some ass with. So thank you, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to share. Show some support. Appreciate y'all. Head on by the Twitch. It'll be down in the links below. And I try and stream 1 to 2 times a week, best I can. But my Discord is always open. You can go on the Twitch and type !Discord, and it'll pop you in the Discord to start talking to some people. We have some very knowledgeable people over there. So, but again, thank you guys. I appreciate you, and I'll catch you guys later.